Is anybody in the class?
I don't think so, sir.
Okay. I talk to Atharva and otherwise, if anybody is there, you can just inform them to join online.
So,
Yes.
so could you tell us a portion for the MST?
Whatever we will complete during this week. I think tomorrow is again holiday, no? So we can conduct them on Wednesday and Thursday, and so whatever we will cover by the time we will consider for MST.
So whatever you complete before the MST, till that's the portion for the MST, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any requirement from your side?
So for what?
For the syllabus?
No, you said that it's till whatever you will teach till the MST, right? So
Yes, yes. Okay, before we start, see, I have got one requirement for internship at IIT Bombay. So, if you are interested to work in operation research or some decision making, this may be some few months assignment, maybe 2-3 months, or maybe extended if depending upon the requirement. This is paid internship, but there are few conditions. This is available for the students, preferably from Mumbai, and actually it is offered for third year students. But if you are really interested, and if I think you can do that, then I will recommend your name. But if you are interested, let me know. So this is regarding to some data collection. This is regarding to some applications of the operations management uh, domain and decision making domain. So this is this will be helpful and this will be good. Maybe you will be getting stipend as well as maybe you will be getting good experience. But they are preferring third year students. So if anybody is desperately needing and really think that we can do that, then please message me so that I will. I need your CV and SOP for the internship, which will March or April. You can, if interested and really required, then you can talk to the concerned professor. Okay. Okay, so today we will be discussing some analytical methods which are used for deciding the transportation modes and quantity which will be transferred from one location to another location. In fact, we are studying the supply chain design where we will be studying the strategic decisions which will help us to decide the locations. So last time we have seen how these locations can be decided and how that could be useful for the industries to optimize their costs. As far as the costs are concerned, the main objective of any industry is to get the work done with minimum cost. And saving cost is, as we have already discussed, is the way to increase your efficiency instead of increasing your profits. Or this is the most practical way to increase your profit margins whenever we are working in matured supply chains. as we know that at initial stage there is a scope for earning more profits, but as the supply chains gets matured, then the opportunities to optimize the things becomes uh, critical, difficult, and we have to really work hard for getting some innovative way through which the cost can be minimized. And so whatever statistical tools or operation research techniques are available, they may not be much beneficial at later stage or the mature stage of supply chain. Initially, we can do that. So today we will be studying one approach which can be utilized for reducing your cost or optimizing the supply chains. Now, if you study for the network design decision making, then we need some information. We need some data based on which the decisions are taken. Usually, once we have set up our destinations, we have set up our plant locations, we know our markets, we have established network, then in that case, the appropriate thing which is required for all supply chain managers is to decide what should be the quantity which will be supplied from X location to Y location. As we have seen that in supply chain, there are multiple plants and multiple user destinations, maybe warehouses or your distribution centers or your dealer locations or your consumer markets. And then how much material will come from which location, that should be decided. If we think there is one route which will provide us minimum cost, then that will be idle transport media or idle supply chain. But the demand and supply never matches. If suppose your requirement of the market is suppose X thousand and the nearest plant is also manufacturing X quantity, then that is perfect match. But this is hardly possible in current situation. This is hardly possible in any supply chain. And so demand and supply never matches. It is effort of the management while taking some strategic decisions regarding plant capacity or plant location before designing your supply chain to produce the quantity which is required for the nearby market. But if you consider the supply chains or production plants, then there is fixed cost, there is variable cost, there is transportation, and there is uncertainty. And so these factors will not allow us to fix a route where the optimum quantity can be transported from one location to another location. And so this is to be flexible. We have to change the quantities depending upon the situations, depending upon various factors which we have considered last time, which affect on the functioning of the plants or distribution centers or whatever strategic locations we have chosen for making our supply chain run. So these are the informations required. First is location of supply sources and markets. Now that we have seen. Then location of potential facility sites, that is also we have discussed. Then we need to understand the demand forecast by market. Actually, demand forecast gives us idea for designing our supply chain locations, which will help to decide the manufacturing capacity, transportation modes, in-transit mode possibilities, which will be based on the demand forecast. And so this is a very essential part whenever we go for any design. Even before strategic decision, we need to have these figures into our hands. And whenever now we design the locations, we design the plants with certain capacities, then we have to optimize the transportation. And that is what is today's agenda, to see that how this can be optimized. We should know about the facilities, we should know about the labor cost, we should know about the material cost at a particular site. Because these are variables. Now from different locations, you will find different facility costs. As you know that now many of the plants have shifted from Mumbai to other areas. So most of the manufacturing is shifted from Mumbai, and now we are using Mumbai as a service destination, office destination, IT destination, head offices, commercial facilities. If you consider the overall the cost of infrastructure required in Mumbai, this is very, very high as compared to other locations. Or on the other hand, we can choose different locations which can be used as a manufacturing facilities, which can be used as warehouse facilities, which can be used as distribution centers, where other required facilities are available. And so this is the better way to save your costs and increase your profit margins. And so this is also required now whenever we will be deciding our sites. Then transportation costs between each pair of sites. This is again another important. As we have discussed that there may be multiple manufacturing locations as well as distribution locations or user locations. There may be some which will be nearest one. But sometimes now we have to see that now there are multiple near locations. Maybe that if suppose now your location or consumer is at Pune, then it may be at some particular distance, suppose from Mumbai, at particular distance from Nashik. It may be from some particular distance from Kolhapur, or on the south side you will see some location like Chittoor now, which will be approximately equal distance. So if suppose it is not possible to fulfill the need of Pune from one manufacturing location, either at Mumbai or at Nashik or at Kolhapur, so we can think of dividing the capacity which will supply the material from these locations. And this is possible by using optimization techniques. So optimization techniques will help us to take the decision. When there are multiple n number of facilities and n number of users, then the problem becomes complicated and manual solution will be difficult. And so we can go for any optimization techniques, that may be your bee colony optimization, ant colony optimization, that may be your traditional optimization techniques, that may be simplex method, or that may be your non-traditional approaches where you can go for genetic algorithms, you can go for TBLO, teacher-based learning. So these are the n number of optimization techniques are there which can be utilized for solving this problem. Then we need to know about the inventory cost by site and as a function of the quantity. This is again one more important aspects. If we are using these locations as warehouses, then we have to keep a lot of inventory at that. And then what is the cost of inventory as a quantity? Because we have studied about the economic order cost, and we have seen the locations, or we have seen how these costs are changing when we consider different locations. So do you remember that graph, economic order quantity? Okay. So this is supply chain. Yeah, this is the inventory model. As well as EOQ model is concerned, you might have studied this model somewhere. So this is my cost and this is my quantity. Now, why I'm explaining? Because now we have seen that we should know the inventory cost by site as a function of a quantity. And we better know that now this is a function of quantity, because there are two types of cost. Now the one is your fixed cost and another one is, what is this cost?
Variable.
What is this cost?
Holding cost.
Sorry?
Holding cost.
This is holding cost. And what is another cost?
Setup cost.
See, this is one is inventory ordering cost, and another one is a fixed cost, or it is a carrying cost. So I can say this is a carrying cost, inventory carrying cost. EOQ model. We remember that. I think you have studied that EOQ model. Have you studied? Have you studied or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So EOQ model you have studied. Now, where we calculate the economic order quantity by some formula, square root of twice AO upon C, where A, I assume you might have studied now this with a different suffix. So there are different suffixes now, but A is your annual cost, annual demand. O is your ordering cost per order, and C is now the carrying cost per unit item. So this will give you economic order quantity, and we have seen that now there are two costs. One is ordering cost, and another one is a carrying cost. We have seen that now this carrying cost now is linear, because more the quantity you are carrying or you are holding, your cost will proportional or linearly change. While ordering cost is considered, now the ordering cost now usually is non-linear, and it varies something like this. Because now initially whenever your quantity is very less, your quantity ordering cost is high. As your quantity increases, your ordering cost decreases, but again your ordering cost per order will increase. And if we combine now these two together, now you will be getting total cost of inventory like this. So this is your total cost. I will say it as TC. And you find out some quantity which gives us the lowest cost. So this cost will be lowest cost, and this is called as this will give us lowest cost, and this quantity is called as economic order quantity. So what I am saying is that now there is correlationship, and for that now you have to find out what is the cost of inventory which is varying with respect to a particular quantity. And so if you are ordering a particular quantity, or if you know that now this much quantity is to be stored, or this much to be transported from one location to another location, then what should be the cost at that particular site or location, which is a function of quantity. We should also know the sale price of the product in different regions, because this is again variable. This is different. Different now the products are sold at different prices now in different regions, including their different transportation costs or taxes, different taxes of the state. Now, if it is coming under the state tax categories, then these costs will be different. I will see in case of, what is the example? In examples of the goods which are having different tax patterns in different states. This is very usual example which is required in daily lives.
Automobiles.
Automobiles, yes. Even see automobiles are having different costs at different locations. Now, if you are purchasing a vehicle in Mumbai, the cost will be higher as compared to the New Mumbai, and again it will be different now if you are purchasing now in Raigad. Yes, definitely petrol. That this answer I was expecting. Petrol is having different now the cost structures in different states, and many items you can find many. Yes, sorry.
So alcohol.
Yes, alcohol. Yes, taxes are different in different states. Yes, that is also a good example. So taxes and tariffs we will be considered, and we will consider the desired response time and other service factors on the which understanding about what are the requirements which will be needed for deciding the quantity to be transported from one location to another location. We will have the simplest network optimization model, which will help us to decide how this quantity can be decided to be transported or to be imported or to be demanded from which location. Now, for understanding these mathematical equations, you understand first of all this notations. Now, the let m is the number of plants where from we will be transporting these materials, and we are saying now the I as a suffix for plant. So there will be ith plant, and I is equal to 1 to m. So there are m plants, and we are indicating by capital M. So these are my descriptions about the plant. I have n number of markets. I will be transporting this materials from plants to market. So I'll be having the network something like this. So I know markets, like suppose now these are my markets. Sorry, these are my plants. These are my plants, and then I have markets like this is my market, this is market, this is market, this is market, this is market. So these are my markets. Maybe something is here. So now what I have to decide, I have to find out if suppose that the capacity of these plants are X, So I'll say this is X1, this is X2, this is X3, this is my X4, this is my X5. And if suppose the requirement at different places are Y, so this is my Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6, Y7, and Y8. These are my requirements. Now what I have to do, I have to decide that ये जो मेरा Y7 requirement है, maybe at 7th location, how much will come from X2? How much will come from X3? Shall I also get some material from X1? So that we will decide. We will also decide that now if Y2 ka demand I have to complete, whether it should come from X2 or whether it should come from X3. And if it is coming from both the locations, then how much from X2 and how much from X3? Are you getting? Now in this case, now suppose now there will be probably again two ways now by which I can get the material at Y1. And one maybe from one location X1 and another from X2. I have to decide now how much quantity will come from here and how much quantity will come from here. So that I need to locations and high number of plants. Then this problem becomes complicated, and then I have to take help of some optimization tool where I have to decide some input parameters and I have to find out what is the optimum transportation way which will reduce my whatever objective function, or whether I'm increasing profits or whether I'm reducing my cost. So I have to define first of all whatever is my objective function. I have to decide what are my constraints, and then I have to solve the problem with all available data with me, so which will give me some optimized network for the distribution. So in this we are considering M as number of plants, we are considering N as number of markets. M is from 1 to M. N I have considered J here, which is from 1 to N. Let demand J is the demand at market J, and price J is the price at market J. Are you getting? Because I am using J for the market, I am also considering J here. So these are my prices and demands now at J. I don't have to consider now this demand and price now at I location, because these are my plants. So my cost will be at different markets, and demand also will be available only at markets, not at the plants. Then this is capacity I. So this is my capacity of the plant. So if I'm considering I as a plant here, so I'm writing capacity ICP, capacity I. So this is the capacity of I location. This I need to understand whenever managing my demand, because I cannot supply more than my capacity, isn't it? If I'm manufacturing, suppose 1 lakh components per month, then I cannot supply 1,10,000. So I will have to consider the capacity at the plant I. Then I have to consider the cost Ij, which is the cost of producing and transporting one unit now from I to J market, and this is the decisive factor now for optimizing my network. I hope that you agree with me. Cost Ij, which will be based on cost. Now, actually what I can see, once the facilities are located, then the fixed costs are not much significant as far as the decisions are concerned. But yes, when the cost of transportations are very competitive, then in that case I have to also see that what are my costs at fixed cost and variable cost at particular plant, so that now I can decide the optimum way for transportation of goods. If cost I is a fixed cost on the of factory I hope you understand this. And there are some decisive variables now, as I explained, actually quantity Ij, which is the decisive variable which I have to decide. This is what I need. This is what is required output, and these are the inputs now, the inputs required for plant I to plant J, which I will be getting as an output for my optimization technique. Now I can use now some of the suffixes like FAC open. It means that my plant is open. Sometimes it happens that now this plant is not functional, not operational. Company also decides to not operate now some plants if my demand is not fulfilled, isn't it? मेरे पास capacity बहुत है, मेरी demand नहीं आ रही, तो instead of running all the plants partially, I can decide to shut some plant, isn't it? And so this will give us idea whether my all plants are running or not. If 0 indicates the plant is not working, it is shut down, and if if FSC open I is equal to 1, it will indicate that that capacity is open. The capacity and demand are for unit time period. Unit time period could now be months, quarters, or year, whatever. Okay. Any doubts till now? Okay. Now see, this is my optimization equation. So now I have to optimize something, isn't it? If I have to optimize something, then I need a function. I need optimization function. So it can be either minimization or it can be maximization, isn't it? So I will, if I have the cost with me, I will optimize the cost. I will minimize cost, and so my objective function will be minimize the cost into quantity. Cost Ij is the cost which is required for transporting from ith plant to jth market, and quantity Ij is the quantity which I will transfer from ith plant to jth quantity, isn't it? So the total cost of the transportation will be equal to cost into quantity. So my function of minimization function is on the cost Ij into quantity Ij, which I will be optimizing for minimization, and so I am minimizing. So minimize is cost into quantity, and the cost will vary from so it will be for the summation of I equal to 1 to m. These are for the plants, and j equal to 1 to n. This is for the markets. I hope you understood now this my objective function. If you have doubts, then just ask me. Then these are the constraints on which I have to consider. The quantity Ij, the summation from I to m should be equal to total demand. Then my problem will be completed, isn't it? My cycle will run up to my quantity is equal to demand. Quantity Ij. Quantity Ij is transported equal to demand J. It will fulfill that all the demand is fulfilled. It will complete my requirement at different destinations. If the quantity Ij, summation of all the quantity Ijs from all plants is equal to demand J at all plants, then my objective function will be fulfilled, isn't it? Or I to say that now this is summation of now the demands J. I can also update this now as equal to summation of all demands at J, isn't it? Oh, okay, I'll update it later. It will need some time. Okay. Then another my constraint is now I should consider about the quantity which I am transporting from I plant to J or capacity of the capacities I. So whatever quantity I am transporting, that will be less than or equal to all capacities combined together. So this also I can update this now as a summation of capacity of all the I plants, so that now there will be no scarcity of the material. So that I have considered here, that this constraint I have considered, and quantity Ij should be greater than or equal to 0. It means some quantity I am transporting from I to J. It cannot be less than 0, but it can also not be equal to 0, because then in that case there is no meaning for the consideration in optimization techniques. There will be m into n variables and m plus n constraints on the variable. Now they consider this problem where we will be designing or deciding the quantities which will be transported. So you can now note the data if you are solving the problem, so that you can solve the problem of optimization manually, because this is a simple problem I have considered. Small number of plants and small number of markets I have considered, so that now this can also be solved in Excel, or it can be solved now even on paper and pen we can solve it. So in this case now we may not require some optimization softwares for solving this problem, but this is small. But when we are considering actual supply chains, when there are huge number of markets or more number of markets and huge number of more number of plants and huge number of markets, then probably we have to use the optimization softwares for getting our appropriate transportation of the materials. Okay. Now consider the problem. Now, this problem I have considered from Janet Shah's supply chain management book. Janet Shah is a faculty of Ahmedabad, and this is his case study. So I'm sharing this case study with you. This is for the Indian paints. Now, the 5 paints, there are 5 plants and 6 markets which are considered by Janet. And this is the capacity of all the plants. I have 5 plants. One is at Ahmedabad, another one is Badi, third one is Hubli, fourth one is at Nagpur, and fifth one is at Visakhapatnam. So these are my 5 plants now, which are having the capacities respectively as 350. These figures are in thousands or maybe millions. So consider now this is per thousand, so that it will be more than the I cannot transfer more than that. And these are my markets. Now the market Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, Lucknow, and Kolkata. So these are my 6 markets. These are my 5 plants. So each transport quantity required at Bangalore. So these are the quantities required. Bangalore required about 165,000. Chennai requires about 135,000. Delhi requires 280,000. Mumbai requires about 200,000. Lucknow requires 125,000. And the requirement or demand at Kolkata is 155,000. These are the price per units. You see at Bangalore, the MRP is 1,030. At Chennai, it is 950. Delhi, it is 1,000. And Mumbai, it is 975. And Lucknow, it is 900. And at Kolkata, it is 850. Now, the first model which we are considering for minimization is cost minimization model. Now, see the name of this model. So, this is cost minimization model. So, I am just thinking about the cost. What is my objective? My objective is to minimize cost. What is my objective function? My objective function is minimize cost into quantity. So I'm not be considering the profit margins. Are you getting? So I'll not be considering the routes. I'll be just saying that what is the route by which, or what is the way of transportation which will reduce my cost. So my total cost now will be least. That is my objective, or that is the method which I am using for solving this problem. Okay. I think you have noted now this data, because this data will be required in further calculation. So these capacities are required. So these capacities of different locations is required. So you just note down this if you are not noting. So Ahmedabad capacity is about 350. Then there is Badi, 400. Then there is Hubli, 450. Then there is Nagpur, 300. And there is Visakhapatnam, 400. Right? What are these? These are my plants. And then I have 6 markets. So I have markets like Bangalore, then I have Chennai, then I have Delhi, then I have Mumbai, I have Lucknow, and Kolkata. And 165, 135, 280, 200, 125, and 155. These are my demand and demand. And my price per unit now I don't need, so this can be considered later on. Now what else is required for optimization? अभी और क्या data चाहिए आपको? Will you decide this? Jayant? Jayant, am I audible? Okay. Javeer Singh. Javeer Singh, am I audible? Javeer Singh, my objective function is minimization of what? Cost Ij into quantity Ij. I will say only quantity Ij. And this is I equal to 1 to m, j equal to 1 to n. Now, आपको क्या डेटा मिला है? What data you have? अभी तक क्या आपको कैपेसिटी मालूम है? आपको डिमांड्स मालूम? Okay. Can you solve this problem? Javeer Singh, am I audible? Okay. Kaustubh,
Yes, sir. 1 second, sir. Sir, can you repeat the question?
yeah, my question is that now the what data you will need to solve this problem? I have given you this problem that we have to minimize the cost into quantity, and I have presented data of the requirement of the capacities, requirement of the materials at different markets, and the capacities at different plants.
So we need the quantity, no, sir. The capacity is given.
We have to decide quantity is our outcome, isn't it?
Sir, we need the cost of distributing from one plant to the distribution center.
Yes, exactly. So we need to know the cost. See, the major factor which we are using for minimizing our objective function now is cost. It as the outcome of our objective function. Or ये हमें this is our requirement. This is my output which I will be getting now as a solution of my optimization problem. But I need this data so that now I can minimize. And so this data is required for solving the problem. So in this table, I am giving that data. So this is data now which tells us that now what are my costs for transporting. You may consider one unit now from one plant to another market. So these are my plants. मेरा पहला plant अहमदाबाद है, मेरा दूसरा मेरा first market Bangalore है. I'm sorry. And I have different capacities, so I can transport from Ahmedabad to Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, Lucknow. कहाँ से भी कहाँ तक मैं transfer करूँगा? I can transport from Badi to Bangalore. I can transfer from Hubli to Chennai. Now it can be done anything. Now, in order to find out the optimum way, I have to minimize the cost, isn't it? So whatever will be the summation of cost into quantity, that I have to minimize. That is what is my objective for solving this problem. So if I have to decide this quantity, then I should know this cost of Ij for transportation so that now I will be getting solution to this problem. So this table now gives me the cost. Now the cost from Ahmedabad to Bangalore is 910. From Badi to Bangalore is now the 136. Hubli to Bangalore is 726. So you can use either optimization or try to find out the solutions now from this problem. You can solve also manually. Now tell me, now how will you transport? How will you start this problem? Have you studied any optimization methods?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What you have studied? Which methods you have studied, Atharva?
Sir, simplex.
Simplex.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then try this. Solve using simplex. Simplex. Where you studied
Operation
simplex?
management.
Okay. Masood sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And even there was one course, no, for
Yes.
computational method. Is that removed from your curriculum?
Which one, sir?
Computational methods. I think
Yes,
Deshpande
sir. We
school.
don't have any course like that.
Okay. Okay. So you can optimize it. Use simplex to solve this. Okay, till that we don't have much time, so I'll come to the solution. So we see the ideally we have to find out the route which will give us lowest cost. So manually we will try to solve this because this is small problem. You can use the simplex later on to solve this problem. Now if I consider now these ways, I will be giving preference to the places if you are solving it manually, which gives us lowest cost. Okay, so there are two ways. I am also considering the cost as well as I am also consider the quantity. So I can either consider start from the highest quantity which is required and then I can consider the lowest cost, or we can also consider the lowest cost and then we can consider for transporting highest quantity from one place to another. So we will be solving this. I'll use the Jamboard for solving these problems. So I have I'll prepare a table now where I have plants. Why not here? Okay. These are my plants. So I have plants like Ahmedabad. I'll say here. Then I have plant at Badi. Then I have plant at Uri. Then I have a plant at Nagpur. I'll say NGP, and then I have plant at Vishakhapatnam. So these are my plants, and then I have markets. These are my markets at Bangalore. And then I have a market at Chennai. Then I have a market at Delhi. Then I have a market at Mumbai. Then it is at Lucknow and Kolkata. Now I have to decide that now the kaha se kaha or kitni quantity we will transfer. Isn't it? Okay. Now see what is the first way. So what I will do, I will try to find out the lowest cost. Since this is cost into quantity I don't know. I will try to shift the maximum quantity. Now if I am considering the lowest cost, I can either start from each market, or I can consider the overall markets together and I can find out the lowest cost. If I'm considering one by one locations, then I may come across a situation where I need to reconsider the quantities because because I need to supply the requirement from multiple locations or multiple plants, and so in that case I'm just transferring the maximum possible quantities from available locations, like starting from Bangalore. I will stuck up now somewhere in between during the problem. So I will go for the lowest now the possible cost, which I think is around 622. Is that? This is the lowest now the transportation cost. because all my costs now they are above 700. There is no cost which is in between 600. So 622 is my cost from Badi to Delhi. So whenever I will be transporting now these materials from Badi to Delhi, I will consider this is my easiest now the way to transport material. So this is my Badi to Delhi. So I identified that this is my highest transfer. How much shall I transfer here?
280.
280? Yes. I will transfer now the whole because this is the route which are giving me lowest cost. So I from Badi, and so I will cancel this because my so cancel this because for to Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Now again I will go to that table and I will find out now what is the lowest done. Then 41 is here, 742. Then from Hubli this to Bangalore. So I will be transporting this. Now my requirement at Bangalore is 165. So I can transfer all 165 from Hubli to Bangalore. So my requirement at Bangalore is fulfilled. So I'll cancel this and my requirement my capacity, additional capacity at Hubli is how much? What is left out? 285. Okay. Now I'll be seeing now the what is next one. 727 I have considered. I think now next is 741. So this is from Badi to Lucknow. See again there is demand for materials now from Badi. So I'll be considering
There is 740 also.
Okay, sorry. 740 is it there?
Ahmedabad,
It will
Mumbai.
not change our solution, but yeah, Ahmedabad to Mumbai. Ahmedabad to Mumbai is 740. So I'll go for Ahmedabad to Mumbai. So this I will go. So this is my 200. So my 200 at Mumbai will be 40 at Ahmedabad. Okay. Now again, now that I am going where I am getting this Badi to Lucknow is my another cost. So Badi to Lucknow, my requirement of Lucknow is 125. My capacity, left out capacity at Badi is around 120. So I will transport all 120 from Badi. Now I cannot supply anybody from my Badi location. So this is again only 5 is required at Lucknow. Okay, let us see. Now, if we are now looking at the lowest cost, now we will go cost wise, then there is 742 for Nagpur and Mumbai. Oh, I'm sorry. So Nagpur and Mumbai. So my Mumbai is oh no, I cannot consider this, isn't it? Because my requirement at Mumbai is again going for the more costly route 741, 42 we have considered. Then we have 775 here. Is this the next lowest? 775. Ahmedabad to Delhi. Ahmedabad के पास
There is 773 है इधर.
okay 773. Yeah, 773. Nagpur to Lucknow. Is there any Nagpur to Lucknow? 773. 773. I have 300, but I need 5. So 5 I will transfer from Lucknow to Nagpur. This is 295. So this my Lucknow's requirement is fulfilled. Now what I need to supply at Chennai. I need to supply at Kolkata. Okay, Chennai and Kolkata. So I will now see what are the cheapest the routes. I can also go from whatever we are doing 775 we have seen. Then I think there is 782, right? 782 Visakhapatnam to Chennai. Then I can transport to Chennai from Visakhapatnam. So this is 135. And this is I think 265, right? Okay. So this is done. Now only I need to transport the materials for yes, now Kolkata, and I have to find out the cheapest the way for Kolkata. So I will check now from here. Now I can transport the lowest cost. I will be getting from 830 from Badi, but I don't have any capacity at Badi. Then it is Visakhapatnam. I can go to no, sorry. Then there is Nagpur. If I have capacity at Nagpur, then I'll go to transport from Nagpur. Yes, Kolkata requires 155, so all 155 I will transport now from Nagpur to Kolkata, and then also there is some quantity. Okay, leave it now because my whole requirement is completed. So this is my transportation rate. Okay, are you also getting the same answer by solving this by simplex? Anybody solved? Atharva?
What's
Have you
it?
solved using simplex?
No, sir.
Okay. Answer if you are getting something different. I am getting some different answer here. There is 135, then there is 280, then there is 200, 280, 100, okay. Then there is 120 and 5, 155, 120 and 5, okay. Okay, this is the same answer. Okay, so you can use simplex now to solve this problem. So this is what solution I have got it. So this is just to understand the concept of solving this transportation problem, and I have calculated the total cost now of the transportation. Now it gives me that now the total cost is of transportation is 7,73,770. This is my revenue which I'm obtaining from these places. If I transport my total cost will be 165 into cost from Hubli to Bangalore. Second cost is 135, 135. And another requirement is 280 from Badi to Bangalore. So 200 plus 280 into Badi to Delhi 622 plus Mumbai to Ahmedabad I am transporting 200 plus 200 into 740 plus Lucknow I 120 into 741 plus I am transporting 5 plus 5 into Nagpur to Lucknow. So sorry, Nagpur to Lucknow will be again 773, and the last one which I will be transporting is from Nagpur to Kolkata. So it will be plus 155 into Nagpur to Kolkata will be 860. So plus 155 to 860. So that will be my total cost. Now if I'm selling these products now at these markets, Bangalore, these costs are fixed, and so this will be equal to 165 at Bangalore into the cost of selling at Bangalore is 130. So I will find out 165 into 130 plus 135 into MRP plus 280 into MRP at Delhi plus 200 into MRP at Mumbai. So likewise, I will be getting now the total my revenue. So I am getting here that 10,17,000 and my total cost is 7,70,000. So my profit will be the difference between this revenue and this total cost now which comes to be about 2,43,000. Now, in order to calculate the net profits, now I have to consider again my fixed cost and variable costs. Okay, that we will see in tomorrow's lecture. Are you getting the same answer by simplex? Got it or not? Atharva?
So this will only to solve by simplex. So this transportation method only is.
Yeah, yes. Transportation is also there. You can use that. Okay, have you solved these problems by these methods earlier?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
in
operations management.
Okay, transportation. And have you considered the another model now which will help us for finding the maximum profits? So another is profit maximization model.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so both these models you are done, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so consider this case and then solve by cost minimization and profit maximization. So अपना ये तो अच्छा हो गया. So ये already studied. So I won't need the. I'll share these slides with you so that now this our part will be completed. So then tomorrow's lecture, then we will be directly going to gravity method, where we will find out the location of the plant, and then this chapter will finish, and यहाँ तक फिर हम syllabus consider करेंगे. So I'll not be then considering this network design. this cost minimization and profit maximization models. So I will not explain. I'll give you these notes, and then gravity method we will study for deciding the location. So gravity method तक का जो भी part होगा, that will be there for your MST. Right?
So what is the scenario with the
Yeah, it is
MSc?
in
Will
hybrid
have online,
mode.
offline both?
Is department collecting data from you?
No,
I
sir,
have
nothing yet.
informed them to collect the data from students, those who are coming for offline, and then accordingly we have.
So, sir,
we
when
will-
you say offline, we have to give all the exams offline, or we can
Yes.
choose which one to give
No,
offline, which one to give
it's
online.
not like that. It will be either offline. Now, if you are coming for offline for one paper, then all papers now should be. How will we manage? कैसे पता चलेगा कि कौन कहाँ है? Otherwise, there will be mess. It will be very difficult for us to manage the exams if we are either coming on one day. If you are coming in offline, then come for all papers in offline mode. That will be difficult for managing the exams.
So,
And so-
they can take the census of who's coming tomorrow, something like that, right? So then we can give one online, one offline, or anything like that if anyone wants to.
No, but we have to manage the classes, then so sitting arrangement करना पड़ेगा. Then we have to arrange the inventory or the transfer sheets, and all this should be managed. No? So we should know the data, who is coming offline and who is coming online, and that should be. I think it will be difficult again if you are deciding for this paper I will come online and this computer. But you talk to your department coordinators and HODs, let them decide. I have no any constraints before conducting.
And so the paper will be the same for offline, online,
Yes, it will
or
be.
it will be easier for offline or something like
No,
that.
it's not like that. See, I have asked them to. I think you have got the notice. So it is mentioned that now there can be multiple papers. See, what we presume is that even if now we are conducting in hybrid mode, the majority of the people are since not coming to classes, now they will be in the online mode. And as you know that the sanctity of the exams is not maintained in online mode of examination. We are asking faculties for going to multiple question papers, so they will be having similar difficulty level. So, but again, it is up to the faculty. Some people similar difficulty level. So in that case, they have liberty to decide. But as you have seen that now the people go for multiple questions.
Will it be
Appearing
the
for the
same?
same exam, and it cannot be on the different boards. We are not doing like that. If anybody is doing, let me know. We cannot do that. So are you getting the question paper for any mode, whether it is online or offline, must be of same difficulty. यदि कोई आपको फोर्स करता है कि आप ऑफलाइन आ जाओ और इसके लिए मैं ऑनलाइन का पेपर बहुत डिफिकल्ट करूंगा, तो this is not the way, which is not acceptable to any institute authorities. So this is not allowed. Okay,
Sir, both the papers should be of same difficulty, right?
of course, no. It should be of same difficulty whether you are online and offline. See, that is practically we know that online में बच्चे गड़बड़ करते हैं. That you also know that. But
Yes,
there are
sir.
different mechanisms for that. That we have said that it is proctored examination. So faculty will take care of it. But see, we cannot say different papers. मतलब ऐसा नहीं बोलते हैं कि online वाला yes, and this is not possible. So we cannot do that, and anybody should not do that. Because whenever we are comparing your performances, now this should be on the similar papers, so similar difficulty. We cannot say that now जितने भी online में है वो सब copy करते हैं. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना. So we cannot say like that. And if we are saying we cannot prove that, तो हमें prove करना पड़ेगा ना. Because you see, if suppose now some cases come to us as for unpaid means, but we don't punish anybody without proofs. We call the faculties, we call the students, वो सब proofs हम देते हैं. And if it is proved the guilty, then only देना पड़ेगा. जैसे आपको some faculty suppose complain that now he was doing and using unfair means, then they have to produce the proofs saying that now everybody knows in the world that what is the way in which online examinations are conducted, but actually this should not happen. We are trying to control it now from all levels, and even if now whenever we are getting cases, we are hearing them and we are considering them for the punishment norms as per institute norms. So it's not like that, but we cannot give different question papers. Yes. Anything else? So I think we will conduct a lecture tomorrow instead of this tutorial then.
So tomorrow is holiday, right?
Oh, sorry. Tomorrow is holiday. Yes. No, I'm not talking about tomorrow. Wednesday. Wednesday we have tutorial, right?
Yes.
So Wednesday we will conduct. मुझे बताओ भाई आप लोगों के दिमाग में क्या है, अदरवाइज तब मुझे बता दो.
Sir, अभी 9 months this हफ्ता.
हाँ
Sir, don't
Yes.
take this week no.
Sorry Amar.
Sir, prep leave.
No, I'm not able to hear you. जोर से बोलो ना, क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
So he's saying don't take it this week.
No, but at least वो तो देखो, ये तो आपका हो गया, तो I will consider that you will study. तो जो ये तो gravity method that at least we have to complete ना. Oh, give me half an hour then we will complete that.
So we wanted a preparation leave for MST, sir, like to study for
हाँ?
MST.
अरे उधर तो इतना सब वो प्रोग्राम्स कर रहे हैं, तो उस टाइम तो नहीं आता है.
हम लोग थोड़ी
मैं
जा
तो
रहे थे. सर हम थोड़ी जा रहे थे.
No, I'm from that day that now how Professor Daru has allowed you for these functions, and there are MSTs in next week and lot many functions. No, you have to do that, but I was worried that now then how you will be studying for your MST. Okay, then if we have time, then we can continue now. अदरवाइज एक हाफ घंटे का टाइम दे दो ग्रेविटी के लिए, क्योंकि ये तो फिर आपने वो भी पढ़ा है सब. Okay, just let me know. Otherwise, gravity
Okay, so Wednesday we can take it.
half an hour we will complete. So no problem. So Karthik,
Yes, sir.
Srikanth,
Yes,
Asfiya,
sir.
Or else, sir,
Yes.
you can take it right now. Also, Tendulkar sir is not taking his lecture right now.
but my this is 3:15. 3:30 को मैंने एक मीटिंग किया है. Okay.
Okay, so Wednesday is fine.
At least half an hour तो लगेगा उसको ग्रेविटी के लिए. राकेश,
Present, sir.
सार्थक,
Yes, sir.
गुरप्रीत,
Yes, sir.
अभिषेक,
Yes, sir.
वेदांत,
Yes, sir.
कुमार,
Present, sir.
अंसारी,
Present, sir.
निखिल,
Yes, sir.
हर्षल,
Yes, sir.
सिद्धेश,
Yes, sir.
देवीर सिंह,
Yes, sir.
मृत्युंजय,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अकुल,
Yes, sir.
सागर, वेंकटेश,
Yes, sir.
सूरज.
Yes, sir.
Let me check with the meeting if
Yes, sir.
then we will continue. Just
Yes, sir.
give me some time after this attendance. Ritik is there, no?
Yes, sir.
Jayant,
Yes, sir.
Shubham,
Yes, sir.
Arnav,
Yes, sir.
Sarva,
Yes, sir.
Shreyas,
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Joe, Jay,
Yes, sir.
Vishwajit,
Present.
Neil, Harsh,
Yes, sir.
Monil present, sir.
Anil I have marked. Okay. Adesh,
Yes, sir.